Hello, my name's Trevor Kilpatrick. I'm Director of the Melbourne Neuroscience Institute, which is the University of Melbourne's peak body attempting to coordinate neurosciences across our campus and to interact with our public teaching hospital partners and also the Florey Institute. My role has been for the last few years to coordinate neuroscience research for us, but it's perhaps instructive to look back over the last 20 years or so since I arrived back in Melbourne and to reflect upon the transformation in neuroscience related research over that period of time. We've been the beneficiaries during that time of great investment in the neurosciences, resulting in the development of what we now call the Melbourne Brain Centre, which is reflected in the building we are sitting in at the moment, but also across at the Royal Melbourne Hospital and at Austin Health. And this provides us with great opportunity for collaborative interaction spanning between the basic and fundamental neurosciences right through to clinical research occurring in the hospital campuses, but also fueling key interactions bidirectionally between the laboratory researchers and the clinicians to facilitate research in a whole range of neurological diseases. Now, my particular interest has been multiple sclerosis, and it's really gratifying to see how multiple sclerosis research has evolved in Melbourne over that last 20 years. It started off really with a single laboratory, and now is a vibrant, interactive set of teams which includes at least 40 people distributed between the University of Melbourne, the Royal Melbourne Hospital, the Florey, and also, for example, at Austin Health. Now, for many years, our primary focus was the neurobiology of multiple sclerosis, attempting to understand how the nervous system responds to immune insult, and also to understand ways to try and promote neural cell regeneration within the nervous system, and this included a very strong emphasis on stem cell biology. With time, we've all really become aware that you've got to look at the disease in totality, and the interactions between the nervous system and immune system are absolutely key in understanding what actually underpins disease progression, and we need to understand the molecules which are activated and how that they can be modulated to assist in inhibiting and reversing that progression. We've also for many years been very interested in understanding the causality of multiple sclerosis, and this had resulted in Simon Foote and myself many years ago establishing a key project focusing on the genetics of multiple sclerosis. And it's gratifying to see how that has expanded over the last 15 years, such that we now have a plethora of leads, molecular leads, which are involved in the pathogenesis of multiple sclerosis. And that's now also linking with an understanding of the epidemiology of the disease, the environmental factors which transform genetic susceptibility into extant disease. And that's reflected research which we've done in collaboration with key partners such as Bruce Taylor in Tasmania, and invoking the AusImmune study and now the AusLong study, which has been an important study undertaken over the last 10 years. And then obviously there's been a whole range of research undertaken in the last few years at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, and that has reflected a number of key aims. The first has been to try and identify important markers of disease progression to be used both in clinical practice but in clinical trials, assessing agents which might inhibit or reverse the progression of the disease. And it's also reflected in Helmut Butzgerven's work related to MS base, and really being able to, in an integrated way, track the course of multiple sclerosis in large groups of people, to be able to understand both the epidemiology of the disease and also the relevant or the relative merits of a range of therapeutic agents.